Hello and welcome back to Soul Search Sunday with Johnny Tiger on May 5th, 2024. Back in the good old days, um, we had a very limited way to get knowledge or information. Uh, when I was growing up, there were only three channels on TV, and so the information that you were going to get, whether it comes from the newspaper, come from your friend, or come from those three channels. We didn't have computer until I was a teenager. Even in the early days of computer, I mean, come on, who used computer for information? When you first get your hand on a computer, especially as a teenager, you use it for two things. Okay, maybe three. You use it for chatting, you use it for porn, you use it for game. No one used it for information. But more and more so as technology advanced, and we have iPhone, we have Android, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have uh, 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 Team Chat, we have Zoom, we have all kind of stuff. We have YouTube where you can watch Johnny Tiger video. We get more and more information coming into our space. You can even say that we live in an age of information overload, information overdose. And with this amount of information flooding in, flooding out, things we learn every day, things we hear every day, things we read every day, it gets harder and harder to always make the right decision, to know what is it that we're supposed to believe in, what is right, what is wrong. It used to be that people can say, well, if it's on the news, then it got to be right. After all, they investigate these things, right? Well, I think most of you know better by now. Most of you have seen faulty news stories, biased news stories. Fox News is really bad for that, by the way. So is Washington Post. Um, Probably a lot of other news stations are just as bad, but I'm just want to point those out as examples. There are a lot of bias and information. There are a lot of times where things are reported to influence you in a certain way, and you're not getting the true story. So, living in this age of information overload, how do we go about believing uh, or figuring out what to believe and what not to believe? Well, I'm going to make it simple and I'm going to suggest to you a nice, simple formula. And this formula is called apply logic. Apply logic. Now, obviously, it's not as simple as it sounds because logic is not always going to be obvious, right? So, you know, let's just take the example of is there a ghost or is there no ghost? Do ghosts exist? Well, how do you apply logic to that? Like two people, one believe in ghosts, one doesn't believe in ghosts, can sit there and argue all day, and you can be on the side listening to them argue. And by the end of the day, you're no closer in figuring out uh, is there a ghost or isn't there? Because the person who believes in ghosts is going to tell you like a gazillion true story, how this happened, that happened to this person, the piano played itself, the door opened itself, the table was moving across the kitchen all on its own, and I know it's true because I was there in my grandmother's house, or my father was there when my grandmother told me, so it must be true. Like you're going to get a thousand of these uh, these anecdotal stories about these real events. And then the person who doesn't believe in ghosts is going to come up with all kind of scientific uh, reasons and why it doesn't work and these stories that is not true, and that maybe there's a draft that blew the door shut, and maybe the piano, or maybe the cat was walking on the piano. Uh, maybe when you were sleeping and the piano was playing all on its own, you thought the cat walking on the piano. And then when you went to investigate, the cat heard you coming, the cat ran away. That like the person the non-believer is going to have a gazillion excuses to discredit these stories. And you, as a person on the side, you have no idea who to believe, right? And obviously, in this case, when I say apply logic, well, how do we apply logic? Like, isn't this what the non-believers doing? They just use logic against the other person? No, that's not what I mean when I say apply logic. When I say apply logic, use logic to try to help you figure out what to believe, what not to believe. I'm not talking about uh, the event, the situation, the story themselves. I'm not talking about these like the ghosts themselves. Take this example. The simple formula that I'm suggesting to you is ask yourself this simple logical question. If I believe, what if I was wrong? If I don't believe, what if I was wrong? Okay? And then you take the answer of these two things and compare them. Which one is worse? And I think you will come to a very easy conclusion after that on whether you should believe or not. Now, I can't personally take credit for this simple logical formula. This is actually in some circles called the Pascal formula. And it was first suggested by a very famous person, a very famous, very accomplished Blaise Pascal himself. Now, some people don't know who Blaise Pascal is. Some people know him as that asshole that a lot of us had to study when we were in school. Why did we have to study him? Because he is like this overachiever that invented a whole bunch of stuff. Like he's a mathematician, he's a physicist, he's a scientist. He invented the hydraulic press. He invented syringe. He had research into the vacuum of space. And so this guy, who lived around 1630, 1640 or thereabout, yeah, yeah, a classic overachiever and like super smart genius, and contributed a whole bunch of stuff to human society, which we had to study in high school. Right? That's why a lot of us hate him. So you would think that someone like Blaise Pascal, who's so scientifically minded, who's into physics and science and space and all that stuff, you would think he would be a non-believer, right? You would think he's an atheist or non-believer. But if you look at his life, his biography, he was a very devoted Catholic. Uh, and he had been asked more than once by his peers, like, how can a person who's into science like yourself, like not just into science, but like a accomplished, hardcore scientist like yourself, how can you believe in God? How can you believe in that nonsense? And Pascal responded with the Pascal formula. He said, it's simple, okay? It's logic. Let's say I believe in God and you don't believe in God. Okay, what if I was wrong? Okay, let's say I believe in God and I pray every day, but there's no God. I die and I find out I was wrong. Well, I mean, I didn't really lose anything. I lost some prayer time. I lost a few hours here and there, but that's okay. I didn't lose anything big. So if I was wrong, I was wrong. Now let's look at you. You say you don't believe in God. Well, what if you were wrong? If you were wrong and God is there and you don't believe in Him and you die, you go to hell. Now, isn't that a bit painful? Like you are paying a huge price for not believing. So, me believing in God is more in line of just playing on the safe side, just in case God is there. Okay, so this is the Pascal formula. What he's talking about is you take the failure from both sides and compare the consequences. If I believe this, what's going to be the worst that can happen? If I don't believe in it, what's the worst that can happen? And you compare that, and then you come to your conclusion. Decide on the logical course. Right? Let's take something a little bit less abstract. Okay, let's take something as recent as the end of the world. Everybody likes to talk about the end of the world, right? So let's say I tell you uh, the world is going to end tonight. You better go spend all your money now because then you're not going to get a second chance. And after tonight, the world is going to be gone. So if you don't spend your money, you're not going to get any more chances. You're going to die and not get to enjoy your life. Okay? Let's say you believe me and you go spend all your money and then the world doesn't end. Oh shit. Now you are up shit creek. Now you're in deep financial trouble. And what happened to me? Nothing. Well, I was just talking. I was drunk and I was just talking. And like it's your fault that you believe me. You know, nothing happened to me. But now you're in. You got a massive credit card debt and all that stuff. What if you don't believe me? Let's say you say, "Oh, that's bullshit. Now the world's not going to end." And what if you are wrong? Okay, let's say you go on your business and do what you do every day, and then the world ended. Well, then you're no worse off than anyone else. Everybody died, the whole world gone. Then that's it. There's nothing for you to worry about. So if we take the price of the consequences of believing versus not believing in this case, not believing definitely has the advantage. If you believe and you spend all your money, you're going to suffer for a long time. If you don't believe and then the world does end, well, I mean, whatever, the world ends. Everybody go bye bye. Um, so this is a very simple, in-your-face example of how to apply the Pascal formula, the Pascal logic, to figuring out if you should believe in something or not. I can even give you a personal example with regarding to the uh, COVID and vaccine and all that stuff, right? Back when they first came up with the vaccine, I got asked more than once, do you believe in the vaccine? Do you not believe in the vaccine? Do you believe that it's a government way of controlling you, etc., etc.? My answer to my friends was very straightforward. I said, I don't really worry about believing or not. The fact of it is, if I don't take the vaccine, they don't let me travel and I can't see my girlfriend. If I take the vaccine, yeah, okay, maybe they're watching me every day, maybe they're using that to control me, but hey, whatever. I don't mind. Like if the government see that much in me that they want to control me or peep in on me or listen to my conversation, go ahead. They can listen to me make Johnny Tiger videos, whatever. I don't lose anything. So in this case, I chose to go with the vaccine not because I really believe in it, but because the price of not taking it, not getting it, means I wouldn't be allowed to travel. So a lot of time, there's really no right or wrong. There's no believing or disbelieving. There's no real or false. A lot of time it comes down to what is the consequences? What is the worst that can happen if you go one way? What is the worst that can happen if you go the other way? the Pascal logic, the Pascal formula, it's a great way to ground yourself in reality, in logic, and figure out, is this worth believing in, and how should I treat this information that I'm exposed to every day. I hope that this episode helped some of you out in the long run, and feel free to comment in the comment section, and please subscribe and like the video. We have videos almost every day, well, pretty much every day. That's almost 2,000 videos on this channel. Uh, we are getting very close to 400 subscribers. Thank you, everybody, and let's make it happen. Let's get us to 500 by the end of the year, shall we?